remove it without mentioning him. Grief is sidestepped for a moment by many jogging questions. Mary immediately reports this new absence to Peter and then to John, who run to check it out. And they emerge from the tomb just as baffled as Mary, but now a new possibility begins to flutter at the sides of their imagination. Can't be, can it? Can it be possible? Can it possibly be that the worker of miracles has become himself a miracle? They dare not hope for such a thing. Like Mary, Peter, and John, the declaration of the great absence gives wing to our imagination too. Can it be that death is not the period to life sentence? Is God able to raise from the dead? Is there hope beyond the grave? Will I see my loved one again? Will I too be raised after I die? God takes the question marks that we have and sort of straightens them out and gives them back to us as exclamation points. Do you recall the words that the angel spoke in Luke's version of the resurrection story? Why do you seek the living among the dead? He is not here. He has risen. When we celebrated my mom's 50th birthday some years ago, some friends of hers painted a sign 5 feet high and 8 feet wide, and placed it out on busy 125 in Lee, New Hampshire, so that the many cars that passed by would see it. And they took out an ad in the local paper, the Foster's Daily Democrat, which my mom was a contributor to, and conveniently placed the ad on the obituary page. And both the ad and the sign read this way: Fran Bascom, we mourn the passing of your youth. 1932 to 1982. During the next week, there were several calls to the house from people who were calling to express condolences to my father. And you can imagine how they felt when they heard my mother's voice on the other end of the line. The absence that they felt contradicted the presence that they heard. And so it was with Mary Magdalene, too. Confused and troubled, she stands weeping outside the tomb. She didn't know what to think. Her confusion over Jesus' absence clouded her experience of his presence. Woman, why are you weeping? Whom are you looking for? A voice asked. Supposing him to be the gardener, Mary said, Sir, if you have carried him away, tell me where you have laid him, and I will come and take him away. And in 2 simple words, the gospel writer describes Mary's awakening to the Easter miracle. Jesus said simply, Mary, and in a moment, she knew who he was. And she said, Rabboni! And her heart was flooded with the gift of Easter miracle. Our Bible punctuates those one-word sentences with exclamation points because they're amplified to every generation before and since. God's grace has been announced. Why do you seek the living among the dead? He is not here. He is risen. In this encounter, the promises of God become realities of faith. Life outsprints death. Absence is defeated by presence. And tomb becomes the womb as life is born again. Easter quite simply, is a game changer. The "it is finished" that Jesus spoke upon the cross becomes a "surely I will be with you always to the very end of time." It turns our questions into affirmations, our despair into hope, our weakness into strength, our doubt into true belief, our mourning into dancing. Jesus is the first fruit of resurrection, but Scripture is clear that he does not rise alone. In his first letter to the church at Corinth, the Apostle Paul describes it this way: "But Christ has indeed been raised from the dead, the first fruits of those who have fallen asleep. For since death came through a man, the resurrection of the dead comes also through a man. As in Adam all die, so in Christ all will be made alive." I'll never forget the beautiful way that my 3-year-old son reminded me of this truth. He happens to be here today, incidentally. I had just finished the prayer of committal as my uncle placed the handcrafted maple box that he had made that held my grandfather's remains into the earth. I held it all together through the service and through the graveside as I wore the robe that he'd given me a few days before for the first time at his funeral service. And then all of a sudden it's hit, and the tears began to flow, and the grief was there, and the absence was felt. And little Stephen Eric, who was named after my grandfather, grabbed his daddy's hand, and with the biggest smile that only he could muster, he said, "But Daddy, he will be alive again." And in that moment, Easter flooded my heart. Do you feel an absence in your life? Are you grieving the loss of something or someone? Are you finding it hard to let go of the emotional tangle of grief? Do you find yourself asking, when does it get better? If you listen, you too can hear the words of the Easter angel. Why do you seek the living among the dead? He is not here. He is risen. So are we now where Christ has led. Hallelujah. Following our exalted head. Hallelujah. Made like him we rise. Hallelujah. Ours the cross, the grave, the skies. Hallelujah. Amen. I'd like to invite our ushers to come forward so that we receive our morning tithes and greetings and mission gifts. Please join with me as we share our prayer of dedication. God of grace and glory, we offer these gifts as a testimony of our faith. Use these gifts so that we may see one another as you envision us, faithful followers. As we continue in this time of worship, we seek now the sanctuary of your comforting peace. In the name of the resurrected healer, Jesus Christ, we pray. Amen. We're going to share a prayer of intercession. And then I'd like to close with a pastoral prayer which I did not write. It's one that actually was written and shared at an Easter service exactly 50 years ago on Easter Sunday. It was written by Reverend Thomas O. DeWolf, who was the father of Jim DeWolf. He shared with me some notes from his father, and my wife and I, as we were looking through them, came across this prayer, and it seems every bit as relevant today as it did 50 years ago. The only alterations that I've made are to some of the language to make it a little more inclusive. That, of course, reflected the times in which it was written. But I think you too will see that it's a prayer that we can offer together. Let us join our hearts in prayer. God, we do thank you for your grace today. Thank you for all the celebrations that we are experiencing, for the gift of family and friends, for the reunions that are taking place. Even as we gather in celebration, we are mindful of others around the world who are struggling in many different ways, and some in our own church family who are as well. We pray for our brothers and sisters in the Egyptian Coptic churches that experienced such devastation on Palm Sunday. We ask, Lord, that you would help those congregations to pick up the pieces and to make something that makes sense out of them. We ask, Lord, that your grace would be with all the pockets of those who are troubled, wherever they might be, scattered to different points of the compass in our global community. And we ask, Lord, for your grace to be with those among us too. We pray for the Malpass family, for the sudden passing of Don's brother, Dennis. And just ask, Lord, that you would be with Don and Cody and Rosemary and each in their family as they honor his life and try to go forward from there. We give you thanks for a mother's birthday today, submitted by Marcy Kennison. We pray for our son Stuart, that he will not need a fifth back surgery, submitted by Lucy and Donald Peck. Thanks to all who helped with the breakfast this morning, even under the circumstances in which they did it. It surely was delicious, and we're grateful for that gift. Continued prayers for Paul Bisson and for his wife Brenda, prayers of healing and comfort. Prayers for our graduating seniors as they choose their next places to go after high school and college. Prayers for Amy Prince, who continues to progress in her healing after her heart transplant, submitted by Janet and Joel Irish. A prayer for Arthur, having heart surgery this week, submitted by Donna. Prayer for a daughter in the regaining of her health. All the blessings for my family. Prayers for Joey, healing prayers, submitted by Jason. For the spring sports starting with the ice and snow melting, we pray for safety and pray that all the wonderful gifts of team leadership will be shared and absorbed by those who are playing. Prayer for my son-in-law's brother, Pete, who collapsed this week at work, ended up in a Rhode Island hospital. They found that he has leukemia, but right now are treating him for the flu. He cannot be moved back to Maine until he can breathe on his own, submitted by Judy Sargent. Safety for all students and young adults who are home from school this April vacation, submitted by Beth Spencer Woodhead. For high school seniors making college decisions. Prayers for Roy as he has cataract surgery, submitted by Desiree. For Roy and Desiree, safe travels this week. For Don McDonald, surgery